Dear students, in this video you are going to study about Class 8, Unit 2, A reading, Oliver asks for more. Our unit name itself social issues. So obviously the contents of ABC readings is related with the social issues itself. Oliver asks for more. A reading. We can see an important social issue regarding child labor. This story is an adapted portion from Charles Dickens' novel Oliver Twist. From that, a small extract only taken for this chapter. So, the specialty of Charles Dickens, let's see. He's a well known English novelist. Due to his father's imprisonment means that father is caught for maybe some crime and put in jail or prison. Charles left school and worked in shoe factory. While he was working as an office boy, he launched his writing career. So try to understand his life also. He experienced child labor due to maybe poverty. So he focused on social issues and human ailments in his work. Human ailment means issues, social problems, and painful situations of human beings. Such works he written. This unit is starting with a quotation. Home is the happiest place in the world. Is it true or false? According to your viewpoint, maybe it's right, isn't it? Not only your, everyone's. Happiness is what? Home itself. We have the freedom to enjoy, spend enough time in home. In short, anyone can be happy at home. Having a home and a family is a social status. Being in a family gives the feeling of living. Home is the safest and happiest place in the world. One can feel secure and happy at home among one's family. So I agree with the view expressed in the above statement, isn't it? Why you like your home? What is the reason? Maybe we can say that you like your home because it is the happiest place for you, isn't it? It is very pleasant and comfortable to live in, and maybe you are used to get love and warmth of members of your family from home only. Maybe your parents care for you and do all they can do to make you happy. Maybe in a family, mother keeps home always neat and clean. The surroundings of your home is beautiful only because of your parents, I think. Now think about the situation. Those who don't having home, those who don't having parents, such peoples may be put or kept in where? Not in jail, isn't it? They are not kept in jail because they are not criminals. They are orphans. So do you know what is the word meaning of orphan? A child whose parents are died or dead can be called as what? Orphan. Some newborn babies even thrown to street. They are like orphans. Such children are growing in orphanages. Maybe some orphanages are running by any religious institutions, or even our government even take them and give education and some educating jobs also they will give. So I hope you understood about what is this orphanage and such system. Now let's start. This is an excerpt from the novel Oliver Twist, written by British novelist Charles Dickens. It is a story of an orphan boy named Oliver who is brought to a children's home. Here, children's home means orphanage itself. Mr. Bumble walked on with long strides, little Oliver firmly grasping his gold laced cuff, trotted beside him. So in this explanation, we can see little Oliver is looking at Mr. Bumble. So the appearance of Mr. Bumble, he was walking in that maybe in that veranda side or in that floor. How he looks, he is wearing long strides. Long strides means like a long dress. Maybe it is like a gown even, half opened So maybe if I am saying about raincoat, you can imagine what type of dress it is. It is similar to raincoat only, but not exactly raincoat. It is little formal dress of Mr. Bumble because he has duty there. Let's see who is he. Grasping his gold laced cuff, trotted beside him. The way of that dressing style and how it is moving when he was walking, all this we can imagine. Oliver had not been within the walls of the workhouse a quarter of an hour when Mr. Bumble informed him that the board had said he was to appear before in forthwith. Forthwith means immediately. So here board means a group of higher authorities. Higher authorities informed Mr. Bumble to take this little Oliver to their friend. Not having a very clearly defined notion of what a live board was. So he was not aware regarding what is a live board. So he don't having an idea. Notion means idea. After hearing this information, he was not sure to do, or he was not quite certain whether he ought to laugh or cry because he was not aware regarding what is this a leave board. So he had no time to think about the matter. Mr. Bumble asked Oliver to follow him into a large whitewashed room where 8 or 10 fat gentlemen were sitting around a table. According to that picture, we can see in front of them he should be present. Who should be present? Little Oliver should be present. So, like a warden in that hostel or children's home, Bumble is doing the duty. Now the explanation is about the situation, how they are sitting and everything. Let's move little fast. At the top of the table, seated in an armchair rather higher than the rest, was a particularly fat gentleman with a very round red face. Bow to the board, said Bumble. That was a saying of respect. Oliver brushed away 2 or 3 tears that were lingering in his eyes, and seeing no board but the table, bowed to that. So still now he was not aware regarding or not having an idea about what is a leave board. He just seen what this table and chair and some people are sitting. So as Mr. Bumble given a polite respect to them, likewise he also respected with the eyes. He is filled with tears. What's your name, boy? Said the gentleman in the high chair. Oliver was frightened at the sight of so many gentlemen, which made him tremble. The beadle gave him a tap on his back with his cane, which made him cry. So Mr. Bumble is standing there with a beadle. Beadle maybe it is like an instructive stick. Gave him a tap on his back. A small tap given. Who given? Mr. Bumble itself given. With his cane, which made him cry. After getting that small punishment, he became cry. Why that Bumble given punishment? Because he was silent. Again continuing, boy, said the gentleman in the high chair. Listen to me. You know you are an orphan, I suppose. So one of the gentlemen in that chair, he may be a fat man, he may be the higher authority, and asking that, you do you know you are an orphan? What's that, sir? Inquired poor Oliver. He also don't know about what is the meaning of orphan even. But my students, those who are listening me, you understood what is the meaning of orphan, isn't it? The boy is a fool, I thought he was, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. Another person said to another gentleman who is sitting in that chair in that live board said to the person who is asked, maybe he is a fool, he don't know, he don't having an idea about what is orphan. Likewise explaining. Said the gentleman who had spoken first. You know you have got no father or mother, and that you were brought up by the parish, weren't you? Yes, sir, replied Oliver, weeping bitterly. So he is explaining little more deeply You don't having father and mother, that's why in this parish you were kept and you were called here. You are admitted here because you don't having parents. What are you crying for? Inquired the gentleman in white waistcoat. I hope you say your prayers every night, said another gentleman in a gruff voice, and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you like a Christian. And another person, not only another person, that three, four gentlemen who is sitting in that high chair is giving a training to whom? To our Oliver, and explaining about where you are, what is your duty. You have to pray for the people who is giving you food. Here, who is giving food means this community itself giving. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stammered the boy like this in a hurry, in a fear. He said, Yes, sir, like this because of his cry also. Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade, said the red faced gentleman in the high chair. Another red faced gentleman, his face is looking like very much red. Maybe he's looking like an angry man. That's why. Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade. You will get education and you will get a trade business also from here. So you will begin to pick Oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, added surely one in the white waistcoat. So together with the education, they are providing small job also. That from that job, this community is getting profit. So this is what? It's not a proper education. This is a child labor itself. So what they said that tomorrow morning 6 o'clock you have a duty. Duty is this one. Pick the Oakum. According to this picture, this is called what? Oakum. Oakum means actually, in a general sense, we can say it is a byproduct of coir. Loose fiber obtained by untwisting and picking apart old ropes. We know what is ropes. If we are untwisting that, we will get this fiber typed very loose oakum. Usually these ropes and oakums are we are getting with the help of coconut tree and natural elements. So after hearing this information, Oliver bowed low, directed by the beadle, and was then hurried away to a large ward where, on a rough, hard bed, he sobbed himself to sleep. After lot of cry, he fall down to sleep. Poor Oliver, as he lay sleeping unconscious of everything around him, the board had taken a decision that would change the course of his life. The members of this board were very wise and philosophical men. As they turned their attention to the workhouse, they discovered that it was the regular place of public entertainment for the poorer classes. It was the place where they had breakfast, dinner, tea, and supper all the year round and free, where it was all play and no work. This was really shocking state of affairs. They were of the opinion that the poor should be given only two alternatives, either to starve quickly outside the workhouse or gradually inside the houses. With this view, they decided that the inmates of the workhouse would be issued 3 meals of thin gruel a day with an onion twice a week. So they decided after doing such a long work, only giving gruel. Gruel means we know that rice soup, and there were no curries, maybe only onion pieces twice a week. In a week, 2 times only onion pieces as a what sabji. Actually, the members of this live board is very much philosophical man itself. They are wise. Why? They are earning money with the help of this poor child, but not giving proper food, education, and everything. For the first 6 months after Oliver Twist was moved in, the system was in full operation. As a result, during this period, the number of workhouse inmates got smaller and the inmates themselves shrank in size and became thinner. So, because of the poverty inside this uh, children's house, everyone became thin and weaker. The room in which the boys were fed was a large stone hall with a big copper bowl and one end, out of which the master dressed in an apron for the purpose and assisted by one or two women, labeled the gruel at mealtime. Of this festive composition, each boy had one basinful and no more, except on occasions of great public rejoicing, when he had 2 ounces and a quarter of bread besides. Their daily bread is what? This gruel only. This gruel only one time only will give. Maybe it is a full of a big spoon, that much only will give by the ladies who all are working there, like a prison or jail system itself. But at present, jail system is also little rich, isn't it? We know that. We may be heard about that. The basins never wanted washing. The boys polished them with their spoons till they shone again. When they had performed this operation, they would sit staring at the copper bowl with such eager eyes as if they could have devoured the big bowl itself and everything in it. At the same time, they sucked their fingers most carefully to catch up any stray splashes of gruel that might have struck thereon. Boys have generally excellent appetite. Oliver Twist and his companions suffered the tortures of slow starvation for 3 months. At last, they got so voracious and wild with hunger that one boy who was tall for his age and hadn't been used to that sort of thing hinted darkly his companions that unless he had another basin of gruel per day, he was afraid he might some night happen to eat the boy who slept next to him, who happened to be weakly youth of tender age. He had a wild, hungry eye, and they believed him. A council was held. Lots were cast as to who should walk up to the master after supper that evening and ask for more, and it fell to Oliver Twist. So they had a plan. They decided they need little more food. Almost 3 4 months they suffered because of starvation. Starvation means what? Poverty, lack of food. There is no enough food for the hunger. Because of that, their body changes. They are always waiting to see second trip. This first trip itself, not even half of for the stomach. So one day evening, they decided to ask for what? According to our title, Oliver asked for more food, isn't it? Likewise, they decided. The evening arrived. The boys took their places. The master, in his cook's uniform, stationed himself at the copper. His assistants ranged themselves behind him. The gruel was served out. The gruel disappeared. The boys whispered to each other and winked at Oliver, while his next neighbors nudged him. Child as he was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and, advancing the master, basin and spoon in hand, said, somewhat alarmed at his own courage, please, sir, I want some more. With little energy only and little pain, and that even their right, even, isn't it? With that, they asked, this Oliver itself asked, please, sir, I want some more, after taking that much of small quantity. The master was a fat, healthy man, but he turned very pale. He gazed in stupefied astonishment on the small rebel for some seconds, and then clung for the support to the copper. The assistants were paralyzed with wonder, the boys with fear. So, in these explanations, we could see about voracious. Voracious means wanting or need of great quantities of food. The person who is uh, supplying the food, that person became stupefied. Stupefied means shocked because of the angry and strong words of Oliver. What he said, please, sir, he pleaded. Replied Oliver, I want some more. The master aimed a blow at Oliver's head with the ladle and shrieked aloud for the beadle. Here, master who may be that Bumble itself. Bumble has already a long stick for directing discipline and everything in their way. So, with that, given another punishment in the head. The board was sitting in solemn meeting when Mr. Bumble rushed into the room in great excitement and addressing the gentleman in the high chair said, Mr. Limbkins, I beg your pardon, sir. Oliver Twist has asked for more. What he asked, think that. He asked little more gruel only, little food, isn't it? There was a general start. Horror was depicted on every countenance. Countenance means here a person's face or facial expressions. The higher authorities who is sitting there as a live bird, everyone became astonished because of the words said by Oliver. First time in their such an institution, someone asked he need more, like an right. His right, he asked. For more, said Mr. Limkins. Compose yourself, Bumble, and answer me distantly. Do I understand that he asked for more after he had eaten the supper allotted by the board? So the higher authority asked, already he ate what he already given. So we are supplying little quantity of food for each and everyone. So other than that, he need more. Likewise, who is asking? This Limpkins. He did, sir, replied Bumble. Yes, sir, he ate that first trip and he is asking for second. That boy will be hung, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. I know that the boy will be hung. That gentleman, that higher authority said that we have to throw away this such kind of child. We don't want to take such a child in our institution or such a home. So think about that because of the appetite. Appetite means the desire to eat. Our hero, small little hero, Oliver Twist asked more food. So nobody contradicted the prophetic gentleman's opinion. An excited discussion took place. Oliver was ordered into the instant confinement. Confinement means putting in a prison or a closed room. Keep him separate. Likewise was the punishment they decided, that board decided. And a bill was next morning pasted on the outside of the gate, offering a reward of £5 to anybody who would take Oliver Twist off the hands of the parish. In other words, £5 and the Oliver Twist were offered to any man or woman who wanted an apprentice to any trade, business, or calling. So after putting him in a separate room like a punishment, they made a bill or notice. Here bill means notice only. If anyone need Oliver Twist, you can take, no problem. We don't need money for that. You can take it if any man or woman need it. That means that day onwards they don't need who? Oliver. Because that board, that organization can't manage this boy because he asked what? He asked for more food. So if today he asked for more food means he may ask for more freedom. So he may be a revolutionary. Maybe he may be a leader also, isn't it? So they were afraid of such a child. That's why they said that those who need this child, you can take it for any trade or business or calling. Like an apprentice. Apprentice means a person will not get what salary for their job. One who works under a skilled person. So, in short, we can see the members of this board were merciless, selfish, and cruel even. They did not offer adequate food to the children in the workhouse. They used the children for picking oakum. So, what happened to Oliver? When Oliver asked for more food, they ordered instant punishment. They pasted a notice on the outside of the gate of the workhouse offering a reward of £5. If anyone need, you can take this child, and £5 also will give as a reward to anybody who would take Oliver Twist off the hands of the parish.